everyone, we're going to go ahead and start off with a clean, moisturized, and primed face. Now using a blending brush, going with the shade Limit, doing a back and forth motion from the outer corner to the inner corner of your eye. Using a crease brush with the color Nude, repeat the same back and forth motion but more focused on defining the crease. I'm using Strange as the eyebrow highlight. And using a shadow brush, I'm going in with the shade Burnout, applying it to the eyelid. After, make sure you blend out your crease with the blending brush. Then using a flat top foundation brush, I'm applying my foundation. I'm using NYX Matte but not flat foundation in the shade Nude 02. I seriously love this foundation so much, and I have oily skin and it really seems to help and stays on all day. Then using a shader brush, I'm going to blend out Nude under my waterline. Going in with my eyebrows, which I feel are the most important part of any look, I'm using NYX Eyebrow Pencil in the shade Auburn. Now using L'Oreal's Lacquer liner in black, I'm going to start from the outer corner of my eye, working my way slowly into the inner corner. Once that's almost completed, I'm going to go ahead and start bringing out a slight wing on the outer corner of my eye. To add a little bit more depth, I'm going in with MAC's Eye Kohl in Costa Riche. Now as you see, this look completely changes. Using MAC's Prep and Prime and Light Boost, I'm going underneath my eyes. Then moving on, I'm going to go ahead and go on top of the bridge of my nose and then move to my Cupid's bow before I head to my chin. And now I look super crazy, but it does end up looking good at the end. And this is a little bit different. I actually like to go underneath the line where I would take my bronzer and contour my face, and I like to highlight that area. With me, I really like to elongate and define my face. So going back in, I'm going to take my foundation brush and blend all of this in so there's no harsh lines. Underneath my eyes, I'm going to go ahead and blend it out with my hands, only because I don't think it's really necessary to use a foundation brush, and the warmth of my fingers will help blend it out anyway. After you're done highlighting, we're going to go ahead and go in with concealer. I'm using MAC's Prolongwear Concealer in shade NC30. This, I'm going to go ahead and go back over the highlighted areas as well as anywhere that I want more coverage that my foundation does not give me. I like to put it in my T-zone if I have a blemish or whatnot, anything that I want covered. Then to blend it out, I'm using my Beauty Blender. Make sure that it is damp, that's the most important part of blending it out. But these two, I feel like, make such a good combination. I don't think I could live without my Prolongwear Concealer and Beauty Blender. They are the bomb. Now going back in with a small amount of my NYX foundation, I'm using a small foundation brush and just running it along the sides of my nose. I like to go ahead and go back in there and contour just a tad bit, and my foundation is a tad darker than my concealer. Now using a powder brush, I'm going in with MAC's Bronzer in Golden, contouring my cheeks and bringing it up to my forehead and back down to the sides of my nose. Now to darken my contour, I'm going to go ahead and go in with a angled contouring brush. I'm using NYC's Mosaic Color Wheel in All Over Bronze. And for the apples of my cheeks, I'm using e.l.f.'s Blush in Tickled Pink. I'm going back to my brows with a brown shadow on an angled brush so it blends out better before I set my makeup. Now before I apply false lashes, I do like to go ahead and do my mascara. I'm using L'Oreal's Telescopic Mascara in Black. Then after, I like to go ahead and set underneath my eyes with MAC's Prep and Prime translucent powder so my makeup doesn't shift. Now when applying lashes, make sure they fit your eye before you put them on, and if not, make sure you size them and cut them properly. Here I'm using Ardell's Lash Glue in Clear, and for my lashes I'm using Kiss Featherlight Lashes, and this is in Shy. After, you can go ahead and apply your mascara on your bottom lashes. Using NYX Lip Liner in Pale Pink, I'm going to stay in the lining of my lips. The point of this is to just go ahead and define the lip. Then I'm going to go ahead and apply one of my favorite all-time nudes, which is MAC's Jublee. It's like the perfect nude for almost every skin tone, I feel like. For my gloss, I'm using NYX Butter Gloss in the color Cream Brulee. Now this completes the first look for the Naked 3 palette, going from day to night. Now starting our nighttime look, I'm using the shade Factory. With a small shader brush, I'm going into the crease and doing the same back and forth motion from the daytime look. And also, I'm sure you can see I went ahead and I took off the eyelashes because I wanted to put a more dramatic pair for this second look on. Now using Blackheart, we're going into the crease with the same brush and defining it just a little bit deeper. And if you really want to make it darker, I suggest working from your outer corner more so than going back and forth, just so it defines it a little bit more. Don't forget after to make sure that with the shader brush you blend it all out so it's not too harsh. Then going back with Blackheart, I'm using an angled brush to smoke out the underneath of my eyes. Then I'm going to go back over my eyeliner, and I'm also going to go ahead and extend the wing just a little bit more and also go into my waterline with the eyeliner. The more dramatic lashes are an option. It's really not necessary. I just can't help myself. These are the Kiss Featherlight lashes, but these are an iconic. Same brand, same glue. Using Lorac's Tantilizer and Matte Bronze, I'm going to go back into my contour using a small stipple brush. Now as for my lips, I'm using a really light nude shade by Styli Style in Sand. Any light nude will work. I'm lining my lips and just going slightly outside of my lip line just to enlarge them. Using Chella, a highlighting crayon in Ivory Lace, I'm filling in the middle of my lower and upper lip. This will create a more plumped lip. To finish off the look, I'm going in with MAC's Cremesheen Gloss and Boy Bait. Now this completes look 2 and our day to night using the Naked 3. Hope you love it.